Hi Flosstube, this is Stephanie, the Ivy House Crafter, and this is my channel about my cross stitching and occasionally other crafts and sometimes running updates. And today, as you saw in the title, I have a start and a finish and an FFO. And for like the first time ever, and probably the last time ever, I have a piece that is all at once a start and a finish and an FFO. So I'm really quite proud of that. So I'm going to start with that piece. I stitched Song of Norus by Marumi Designs and, or is it Marumi Crafts? Anyway, it's Miriam and she's here on Flosstube, and I'm going to link below her video where she introduces and talks about her pattern, Song of Norus. It's for Persian New Year, which celebrates springtime and new beginnings and new life. And I can't explain it nearly as well as she can because she is Iranian, and and it's her culture. And so if you want to know more about it, like I said, I almost never use my description box anymore, but I will today. I will link it below. And so when I was first planning on starting on doing this piece, I was going to stitch it very much the way that it looks in its cover picture. And I was going to do a kind of beige colored fabric with a dark red floss, and it was just going to be so beautiful. And then as I was going through my fabrics, because I kitted it all up from stash, and I found this one fabric that was not at all what I was looking for, but I realized it was perfect and it took my piece in a completely different direction. And then I went through my flosses and I found a beautiful silk floss. And then as I was stitching it, I was gonna do it monochrome, and then an idea hit me, and so I had to add I had to add another color. And basically, I took the piece and I turned it into a flower. And here is my finish and FFO of Song of Norus. It's so pretty. This was an absolute delight to work on. The fabric is a complete mystery to me. It was not labeled, just some random fabric in my stash. If I had to guess, I would say it's probably 32 count. And it's this just really pretty springtimey green with like little bits of blue and yellow. And I don't even know if it's Jobelin or Lugana. I know it's an even weave, but like if I could see a Lugana and a Jobelin next to each other, I would know which one was which. But just having just the one, I can't tell what it is. So yeah, I don't know. But it's gorgeous and it's incredibly soft. Like I could just sit here and like, oh, it's so soft. And then, like I said, I stitched it with silk. This is a really pretty variegated purple silk from Dinky Dyes. Again, I don't know the color. And it was as I was stitching up in here, I was like, this pattern overall is kind of shaped like an abstract kind of flower. And so I got another Dinky Dyes silk, and this one is green. Again, I don't know the color. I'm a terrible floss tuber. I don't know the color. But so this part up here is the blossom, and then here's the stem and the leaves. And I could just sit here and pet it. Oh, it's so pretty. And It was so soft. I stitch in hand, and so I had the fabric and the floss just like right up against my hands the whole time, and it was just so nice. Um, so yeah, I really wish I had more of this fabric, and or that I knew what this fabric was and where it's from, so that I could get more, because it was an exquisite experience stitching on this gorgeously soft fabric with this gorgeously soft silk. Anyway, the border is stitched in a variegated by Jody Redesigns, and I was gonna look up what the color was. It's red breasted or lilac breasted something. I recently finally played around with my video editing app that I've got on my phone and figured out how to add text and pictures. And you will have seen the cover picture for Song of Norus that I will have so cleverly inserted. And so down here you will see the name of this floss. It's a fun variegated, very springtimey purples and orange and blue and sort of like a pale color. Anyway, very lovely. So this is, oh, and the frame was from Stash too. I I got a set of frames from Amazon quite a while ago to frame a couple different pieces, which coincidentally are still sitting in my under the bed box. But the frame worked really well for this. Anyway, so this sits up on my mantle, and it's just perfect for springtime. It's so beautiful. I'm very pleased with it. My finish is nothing fancy. I used framing tape and stuck it right onto the backing board. But that works for me. That's fine for me. Anyway, so as I mentioned, I have a different start and a different finish and a different FFO, and I'll kind of show those but backwards. In my last video, I showed my finish of Feasting Frenzy, which was my Dimensions kit, and I have an FFO of that. I got it framed, and here it is. I love this frame. I got it on Amazon, and it's country French teal or something like that, and it's just so perfect. There were a whole bunch of other different colors that I was looking at, and a couple that would have coordinated with the really pale blue greenish of the bird feeder. But when I had the pictures of the frames like on my phone, and then I was holding up this piece next to my phone to see how it all played together. And when I held the stitched piece up to the picture of this, I was like, well, yep, wow, that one looks great. And I'm so glad I picked this one. It brings out the brightness, the vibrancy, and just it brings the whole thing to life. It's so gorgeous. And here's kind of a close-up of the frame. It's kind of distressed, just this really beautiful, bright yet grungy. Anyway, so yeah, and same as with the other one, I just taped it right onto the backing board, and I could have stretched it a little bit better. You can see some of the like little wrinkles in here that I couldn't quite get out with my iron. I don't mind. I don't care enough to go back and try it again. I'm not picky. If I had paid someone to do it and it looks like this, I'd be like, maybe try again. But since I'm the one that did it, I don't mind at all. Anyway, beautiful. Now we just need to find a place on the wall for that to go. Okay, so that was my other FFO. For my finish, this one was super exciting. This was the cabinet by Thistles. And if you remember the last time I showed it, I had the first 4 shelves done, having completed this one and the other half of this one for my whip goal for this month. And I was contemplating doing the last shelf and just finishing it. And I did that. So, woo, gotta lean back. Here's the whole thing. It's bigger than it looks on the pattern. And here is the shelf that I stitched. It's got the 2 little signs, one that says simplicity and one that says live, love, laugh. It's got some beautiful vintage looking crockery, globe, a couple grinders, and this big old sheep. And you can tell it's a sheep because it says sheep right there on it. I did the... Okay, so for the sheep, the called for was the same color that was called for with this horse up here. And remember, I didn't want to use that color because you couldn't see it against the background. It blended in too much. Same problem, it blended in a lot. But with this one, so it was oatmeal. And I did a blended thread. I did 1 strand of oatmeal and 1 strand of DMC 3865. So that brightened it up just a touch. And then I used this grayish purple or purplish gray that's surrounding the word sheep. This is Moonlit Path. I used 1 strand of that to backstitch around the sheep to make it stand out more. I didn't want to backstitch the horse because there were 2 horses, and if I backstitched one, I would have to backstitch the other because they have to match. But on the sheep, it was okay. So that's how I did that one. The colors on the globe are weird, so I just try not to think about them too much. It doesn't make perfect sense to me as a globe, but that's okay. I'm not stitching it again because I did this part right here. I stitched it in one color and then I was like, no. So instead of unpicking it and stitching it again, I just used 1 strand of a different color and stitched over it. And then I was still like, but I don't want to do it again. So yeah, like I said, I'm just pretending that it's an abstract globe or something. I don't know. On the whole, I really like it. So eventually this piece, while for now it's going to go in the under the bed box, eventually I would like to finish it by stitching it into the shape of a bookshelf and having like, brown fabric shelves between the different portions and all the way around, and just have it be a little bookshelf wall hanging, and that will be super awesome. Anyway, I was really excited to have that finished. Okay, and now I'm going to show you my new start. I like to always have a dimensions kit going. And so I started a new dimensions kit having finished Feasting Frenzy, and I went ahead and started Village Canal. Beautiful piece. This is the one that my husband gave me for Valentine's Day. I wasn't 100% sure where I was going to start. I mean, I knew I was going to start in the center, but I was like, should I start and stitch this half, or should I start and stitch this half? Should I go up? Should I go down? And I was explaining to Jeff why I couldn't start in a corner, because the dimensions kits, they don't give you a great deal of fabric to work with. They don't give you much in the way of borders. And I was like, if I wanted to start in, say, this bottom left corner, I would have to find the middle and then count down 70 and over 90, because that's about the size. And then that would be where I would start. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, I actually really like the way the pattern looks right down there. That would be a great place to start. So I found the center of the pattern and I counted down 70 and over 90, and I started in the bottom left. And this is what I have so far. Just a side note. You probably heard that weird noise in the background. We have this toy minion that talks, and it's meant to talk only when you like push the button on it, but its batteries are like really old, and so it's started just talking by itself. So if it does that again, I'm sorry. It's just, it had to be like out here and not in one of the kids' bedrooms, because it was waking them up by suddenly starting talking to itself. Man, creepy possessed toy. Anyway, this is the bottom left corner. This is water, obviously. Hang on a second. That's better. I was like, it doesn't look right. There we go. This is the water, and like the reflections in the water, and here's stones and the steps and stuff, and then some of the plants that are growing up over the stonework. Yeah, I was holding it. I'm like, it doesn't look, yeah, it's this way. But yeah, it did turn out to be a great place to start. I like having, just like right there in the corner, and I didn't have to pick, okay, which way do I go and stuff. So, so pretty. This is going to be fun to work on. And I like how in the water, these are half stitches, and that gives it that sort of reflective water quality. And then the things that are real instead of reflections are in full crosses. So, I mean, it's not the hugest of starts, but it's fairly respectable for a new start. And I am rather pleased and excited to see that one begin to come to life. It's got some beautiful colors. Here they are, and apparently there's a whole lot of this green, because they came, they gave me another big long bundle of it. Anyway, it's gonna be fun. Okay, so that's all the most exciting stuff. And then I have 3 other just works in progress that I worked on in the past couple of weeks. And one of them is my stamped piece that I'm working on, Decorative Painting 9. And I got this out and worked on it sometimes here at home, and then a couple times when I was like out someplace. For instance, a couple days ago, yesterday, yeah, I took my older daughter to get her hair cut. She wanted it short and sassy and bold, and it looks great on her. Anyway, and so I worked on this while I was waiting for her, getting her hair cut, and since I'm just doing black It's really easy to carry along. This is what it's looking like. I was working in this tree and I got like all this done. So a lot of progress on the black there. Clearly lots to go, but this one's coming together. It's kind of fun seeing the dark, seeing this black fill in, and soon I will be able to, well, relatively soon, and that's, I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take me, but at some point, relatively soon, I will finish this and it will look great and I can wash it and frame it and blah, blah, blah. All right. Next is my Temperature Quaker by Stitch and Mommy. And here's what this one looks like. We've had some interesting weather. So I don't have it fully up to date. I think I'm about 5 days behind right now, but we had one day where I was able to stitch a green that was like fully green, not like blue green. Everything else has been blues and greens. And what that means as far as temperatures is that one day the high was like 60, and everything else has been generally 40s, and we're even back down into the 30s. And it's cold. We woke up to snow all over everything today. I have a set of mantle blocks, just a bunch of like letters, and you can put them together in various ways to make words. And I like to have the seasons, like happy spring, happy autumn. I'm not always good at updating. It said happy autumn for far too many months. And anyway, we finally switched it around to say happy spring on the first day of spring. And it was snowing outside because this is Utah and it just does that here. Anyway, all this to say, here's where it is. Looks like, hang on, I'm gonna fold this so that you get less shine through from behind. So here is March, and you know, we had a couple slightly warmer days down here that you know, that's getting up into the green, and there's like that's slightly greenish. This middle stem, that was our one really warm day, and then everything after that has been significantly less warm. We're still getting colors over here that were way over here in January. So it's kind of fun, and I'm also kind of like, I'm ready for some greens, maybe even some yellows would be nice, you know, just some nicer, warmer temperatures would be very much appreciated. Except that on the day that I got to record the color for the temperature for this green, that was a day that I went out on a run and I got to wear short sleeves and was reminded that I need to wear anti-chafing stuff under my arms when I wear short sleeves because my underarms chafe really badly when I go running and I don't have long sleeves. You very much needed to know that. I needed to share that with you. Not oversharing there at all. Anyway, so that was a good reminder. So yes, Temperature Quaker. I probably have enough temperatures to fill in the one that's opposite of here. So the one that looks like this, but is over here. At least a few of them. Anyway. Yes. All right. One final whip to show. I was just looking at my my stuff and thinking, okay, what else is getting close-ish to a finish that I could, you know, focus on and get some work on and maybe get close to finishing. And I found Beautiful Blooming Bouquets number 4 by Jeanette Douglas. And I had already completed all of this part in the center. So all I needed to do was the satin stitch, almost invisible inner border, and then all of these flowers and leaves on the outer border, which is still a decent amount of work, but I decided I'm down for the challenge, and so I got that out. And here it is. I put in the satin stitch border, and in some lights it's really visible and in some lights it's not, but it's there and it's beautiful. And I put in the top portion of the border. So now just the bottom and the 2 sides, and this will be done. And then I can start my other Blooming Bouquets piece. I also have Bountiful, I think. And yeah, this is being, I haven't talked about any of the fabrics except for the mystery one that I didn't know about. This is 40 count something, 1/2. There you go. And yeah, it's so pretty. It's beautiful, just like its name implies. This is mostly the called for silks. I think one of the greens, at least. I know that the dark green was, I actually think that one's a cotton, and it's like a mystery green that I had in my stash, because the green called for was not available on 123 Stitch when I kitted this up. This is parchment instead of vanilla pudding. And I think everything else is as called for. Now when I stitch Bountiful, that will be in overdyed cottons. Because hang on, words. At some point, it was on my birthday. I don't remember which birthday. Probably last year? No, year before? See, I'm so clueless. Anyway, I took my pattern of Bountiful to my LNS, which is Craft Center of Fine Stitchery, and I did my own conversion into overdyed cottons. So there's some weeks in there and some classic colorworks and some gentle arts. And so I have that all kitted up, and it's going to be stitched on the same 40 count fabric as Beautiful. So once I'm done with this one, I will get out Bountiful and I will stitch that one. Because the silks are so beautiful and so nice to work on. I already ranted and raved about that when I was talking about Song of Norus, but they're also so expensive. And the cottons cost quite a bit less, so I kitted it up in cottons. Anyway, let's see, do I have any life updates? My marathon, well, it was the Salt Lake City Marathon that I registered for like a year ago, is in 4 weeks, And because earlier I had a knee injury that I was dealing with, and I had to cut back on my training so that I wouldn't make that worse. So I wasn't able to do training enough to feel comfortable running the full marathon. So I have officially switched my registration to half marathon distance. So my half marathon is coming up in 4 weeks, and I'm very excited about it. I'm nervous, but I did a 10-mile run yesterday, and that was nice. Nice to know that I can do it. It didn't necessarily feel great, but but I did it, and it was good. I'm probably not going to film and post strictly running update video until I do the race day vlog. So instead of doing like training vlogs like I was doing for some of my other events, I'll do the race day vlog. Anyway, I stepped on the scale the other day and realized that I weighed a lot more than I wanted to. Yeah, how often does that happen to everybody else? Yeah, anyway, so I have signed up for Noom and have started that and have already dropped several pounds, and that's exciting. So hopefully you'll see me starting to slim down a little bit as these videos progress. That'll be great, and that'll be especially nice because it's so much easier to run when you're not carrying as much weight and you're not, there's less pressure on the joints. And anyway, so I'm hoping that my running will be easier and that I'll hopefully be less injury prone when I slim down a bit. I believe that's everything. The Minion toy has been silent for the remainder of this video. Thank you, Minion. And I'm gonna go ahead and end it there with a have a great week, couple weeks. I hope you are able to stitch everything that you want, and happy stitching. Bye. I'm just popping in here really quick because I realized that for the second time in a row, I forgot one really awesome piece of haul that I picked up. I watched a Flosstuber, Floss, from Floss's Corner, and she, not quite so recently now, but still fairly recently, showed her finish of the Dimensions Gold Kit Victorian Elegance, and I realized that I absolutely had to have it. So I ordered Victorian Elegance. Sorry for the glare, but I will link below. See, there's my reflection right there. And anyway, I will link below the video where Floss shows her finish of this. This part is absolutely beautiful. I mean, just everything is so gorgeous. And so I don't know when I'm gonna stitch it. I don't know when I'm gonna start it. I don't know when I'm gonna have time with all my other stitching that I have. But yes, I had to have it after seeing her beautiful finish of that piece. So that will be linked below as well. Okay, thank you.